Okay, my name is Marlo Ray Martinez. I am president of Salmar Corporation, and I'm also the probate judge for the county of Rio Arriba County. In 2002, I ran for public office and was elected a probate judge for Rio Arriba County. This is a job that entails dealing with those families that want to start a probate on the estates of their loved ones that have gone on to a better life. We make the appointment of the personal representative of that estate so they can go on to manage the affairs of the estate of the deceased person.
So, you're a public servant
Yes,
and you deal with the public.
yes, sir.
Is there stress associated with that?
Yes, there's stress associated with practically everything that I do since I'm so active in my life and everything. So I would say definitely there's stress involved. Well, the way I deal with it is actually I like to look at the big picture. There are people in this world that don't have their health, that aren't. I'm relatively young still, so with my youth and my health, I that's the best thing that I have going for me. You know, without your health, you don't have anything. So I have to look at the perspective of the fact that there are other people in this world that don't have that and that weren't born healthy, that are that have gotten sick through having cancer and other accidents or medical conditions. And at this point in time, I'm fine, and I have to look at the big picture to realize and bring me back, to thinking that I am actually doing well, whether I have good stress or not. And there's good stress and bad stress. Of course, the good stress is when you're trying to achieve your and balance your life. But then there's the negative stress that could be stuff beyond your control that, of course, you try to make an opportunity of those things that are going bad,
You kind of deal with your stress or de-stress. What do you do to de-stress?
Well, in the past, I've always run. About a year and a half ago, I had an ACL, torn ACL that was knee surgery. As you get older, of course, your body takes an impact in terms of when you like run, and I've always done that. So I've taken up walking with my wife. We go and walk at the Black Mesa golf course around there and walk 2 to 3 miles as often as we can, and that helps relieve stress. And of course, you talked about stress. Yeah, I forgot to mention that exercise is a great stress reliever. I would like to meditate. I just never have had the opportunity for someone to sit me down and see if I can sit there for 5 minutes and absolutely clear my mind. I don't know that I can do that. I don't know that many people can do that without proper training and enough effort and time in that.
Ever tried yoga?
I've tried it, but not often enough to really grasp the idea of how to do it.
What was your first experience with yoga, and how was that for you?
Well, my first experience, it was nice. It's again, it's something that you have to spend time and have proper training. It was nice. I do know that the emotions and your brain have a tremendous impact on your body. Your emotions can really make you sick and stressful. That has happened to me in the past, even most recently. This episode was I was invited by the Attorney General to the Espanola Valley High School to listen to a presentation for underage drinking. This gentleman and his son were traveling throughout the country giving these presentations to high school students about the impacts and the results of drinking while intoxicated. They were at a party. These kids were at a party, and they took off. And ultimately, this boy crashed and ruined his life. And it was a live screen picture from William Shatner on a national television program that reenacted the episode. And he was there, and he couldn't. He had to learn to walk and talk and eat and do everything from scratch, all over again. And at that point in time during this presentation, I felt nauseous just because of what he had been through. It really got to my mind which caused the circulation of my oxygen not to reach my brain fast enough. While I leaned back, I went back with my neck thrown back, and I wasn't getting enough oxygen, and ultimately I was profusely sweating, cold sweat, hot sweat. My wife was right next to me, and she freaked out and called 911. The kids behind me didn't know what was going on. They thought it was something else. As it resulted, they called 911. In the meantime, I passed out for about a few seconds and got up and felt all right. But when I went to the hospital to check my everything, everything was good. Everything checked out great on my medical condition. Although I truly believe that happened because of my emotions playing with my body and stopping the circulation of the oxygen to my brain to cause that. And it just, like you say, these people that are off in the front lines fighting crime and dealing with these episodes, your mind does funny things, especially if you're not trained to handle it. I have a brother-in-law that's a firefighter in Albuquerque, and he tells me how stressful it is. We take it for granted and think that we know, but as I've just mentioned to you what happened to me, I don't think that I could handle that right now. I mean, I can handle certain things from watching them on TV, but certain things will cause my emotions to act up and feel bad for those individuals that are on the ground, torn up and bleeding and dying. It's just something that people can't handle, again, unless you have the right mentality and emotions and training for it. But it's, in my opinion, it's your soul that if you have feelings, if you really care, I guess I'm like a type of person that philosopher type of person, and the emotions, they say, come from your heart, and your heart is an organ in your body, but realistically it's your soul, and the feelings that are occurring in your body from how you've grown up, or just how you were born, and it's happened more frequently than not, like I said earlier, in my life, because when you see a poor child suffering in the war, or you see poor people, as evident on my door over there, a bus full of migrants just trying to survive and feed their families, that means a lot, because I have done well, but you have to care for the rest of the world, and this world is not what it should be, and it's probably not getting worse, so my emotions are always being played. That's why I'm involved in politics, because I believe that as public servants, people have needs, and we're there to help them get through those needs. As a probate judge, I help people to go through the bereaving, and I help mediate their disputes and their family disputes in their estates. So their emotions are running high. I need yoga to help me to focus more sharply, and to have that health, happiness, holy happiness, health, feeling, and to balance my quality of life. Work and finances stress you out. They really stress you out, especially when you're having struggling in your finances. That's one of the things, and I think yoga would help people to realize that there's more to it than meets the eye in terms of your quality of life, and not so much just the money that you're chasing. But again, as I mentioned earlier, your health is the most pressing need through exercise and yoga. The benefits would be absolutely necessary to have a clear mind when you're doing any type of work, especially in that kind of work. Doctors performing dangerous surgeries have to have a clear mind. They may have had a hard day the day before, that morning, so you have to have a clear mind and be able to sit down and meditate for 5 or 10 or 15 minutes to clear your mind and to put it all in perspective. It's almost like maturity. We grow up in our 20s and 30s and 40s, and you're on a mission going everywhere else, but you don't nourish your relationships like you should until you finally decide or become of age and get mature, at an older age, to decide this is very important. So being mature and nurturing your relationships, just like you're nurturing your mind through yoga and through meditation, is absolutely something that everybody should be doing. It should be made available to the whole world, so that we can be of clear and sound mind. Um, I'd like to recommend that for married couples when they're getting married, so that they'll want to get married, and they'll know that they're in their right mind. So it'll benefit a lot of different careers, and I do promote and agree with that. Relationship. Well, I'm always preaching that you have to be best friends with your wife, and treat them as your best friend. Too many times we take for granted the people closest to us, or we'll let our emotions off on them because they are closest to us. And so we have to stop and not take that for granted, and treat our spouses or our family members with the love and the dignity and respect that they deserve. And that's something that we don't do all the time. In today's society, the young generation X and younger kids have lost sight of respect, and so they need the community to be involved with their lives, and like you're doing now with these DVDs and trying to bring that to individuals' lives. Well, it takes a community to change things, and it would be nice to have this brought to us so we can all be able to do that.
What do you think builds healthy communities?
Uh, the people themselves. If you want to be involved, you need to help people. The key word is helping. Being involved by helping people. Too many times there are just a handful of people that are the leaders, that they go out and do it. But really, you need everybody involved. As a judge, and I am running for magistrate judge. It's a higher judgeship now in June, and I think I'm going to think out of the box and bringing people together to get people to like these drug addicts. You have to hold their hand all the way through. You can only help someone that wants to help themselves, and if they want the help, you need the resources. And we're lacking in resources in our government, in our country, because the money's flowing elsewhere, and besides that, the idea of a community spirit and help and loyalty and all of that are not there like they used to be. That needs to be done. Some communities have more than others. This community is over 400 years old, and the history of Española and the Spanish coming here and the Indians being here for thousands or over 1,000 years, and the Sikh community coming here because it's holy. But there are problems in drugs and alcohol, and the discipline in the schools. Without the discipline in the schools, I think it's gotten to the point where we can't even discipline our kids because they can sue you and take you to court. So that has to be worked on between the community, like you asked.
Is there something we can learn from this process, this history?
Well, I think it's definitely needed. And yes, to answer your question, we have a vacuum of sorts in leadership. The leaders we have nowadays are caught in the system and corrupt. They've always been corrupt, some more than others. Greed has always been around, some are more greedy than others. You need people that have a higher degree of ethics, that are going to be taking care of their public interests and not their own self-interests. And they need to be taught these things so that they'll understand that it's not just about the money in their pockets, but it's for the well-being of themselves. And I've always said you've got to love your self first before you love others. So with that, yes, you have to take care of yourself if you're going to go out and be a leader and go out and help your community, and to take care of your family and be a good family, father or mother or brother or sister. And so it's ultimately something that everybody, again, should be able to have in their minds. Clear mind with a clear vision. And I've often asked people, what is your purpose in life? And you'll get 1,000 different answers. And the answer that I know that I'm telling them is to serve God. So it's all a learning process, and it's everything else, education and experience, and of course meditating having high esteem, and a lot of people don't have that because of where they were brought up. You see families that have been broken down, and you can't blame them for the generations of drug use. So it has to be educating those people and helping them through, and this is one way of doing it through people that, or everybody hopefully, but especially our leaders in our communities.
If you were a judge, would you think along those terms? You said you were thinking out of the box.
Yeah.
In that process, would you include maybe, asking someone to take a course in yoga can we talk about that?
Well, let me answer it this way. When a person is in trouble, they need help. How do you give them help? Do you throw them in jail, or do you find a solution to their problem? And in finding the solution to their problem, you have to start with their mind, where their mindset is at. It's almost like faith-based. You have to get to the emotions through God and giving them that faith in their soul to want to improve upon themselves. I was recently at a concert at the Rock Church, and they have this men's group there that they've been changed and left drugs for the most part because of their faith. And to get back to your question, I think yes, that would be an integral part of a solution to having these people do meditation through yoga and in their minds, as well as other things, reading and just putting their minds in the right perspective. And I think that would be in the right direction. So I would say that would be a very good out-of-the-box fix, not the traditional status quo. But yes, I think that would be a good start in your outpatient treatment programs, your inpatient treatment programs, and in the jails, so that we can find solutions to these people not going in and out of jail and doing the same thing, but getting their mind in the right perspective, their mind and their heart and soul.